Very good morning and a warm welcome. Welcome back to Dr. Vesai YouTube channel. So today I welcome Dr. Nigar Ranjan sir from Assam and Dr. Sunanda madam from Hyderabad, Telangana. Welcome you both, and also I welcome Karapan sir in our YouTube channel. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Vipasam, for your kind initiative to popularize our very own technology, very own culture that is related with the weavings. Yeah, you're very much right that on 7th of August 2020, we are celebrating another edition of Handloom Day. And on this auspicious occasion, I heartily congratulate all our weavers, all our artisans for their hard work, for their hard initiative they taken to survive in their life. It's very good that you have taken an initiative to popularize, to let the people know about our weaving culture. Yeah, I am from Assam. I myself, Dr. Niharanjan Kolita, and I am basically a teacher in a degree college. I do teach economics, but at the same time, I am very lucky to born and brought up in a place called Swalkusi, which is the weaving hub of Assam. In fact, not only of Assam, on all of Northeast area. Like you see that there is a cluster, like in Bangalore, in Kanjipuram, then in Sirla, then Banaras. In the same way, in Assam or in Northeast, Swalkusi is a weaving hub. In my place, almost 15,000 looms, hand looms, are still working. And if you go for the statistics, if you see that out of 28 lakh of handloom of India, in fact 13 lakh handlooms are from Assam itself. So Assam is known for its well-known handloom and handicraft throughout the world. Perhaps you know that weaving culture is a part and parcel of our rural life. It is considered that if a girl or if a woman doesn't know hand weaving, then she is not skilled. In fact, it is still a custom that a marriageable daughter must know how to weave cloths. It is, as you know, you perhaps like in Tamil Nadu, like in Bangalore, we also wear, Assamese women wears two-piece cloth. The lower part is known as mekhela and the upper part is known sadar. Along with that, there is another part that is called blouse. So in sari, you have only one piece, but in Assam, we are having two pieces in one pair of cloths. And it is considered very ethical, that it is considered very important for an Assamese woman to wear that mekhela sadar in all their life, whether it is a functional wear or whether it is an day-to-day wear. It is a mekhela sadar being weaved in handloom is an integral part of our life, particularly the Assamese life. So in that way, village area are having handlooms at their own home. But yes, as time changes, there are some commercialization of handloom business also. And I am lucky, as I have already told, that I am born and brought up in a place that is called Swalkusi, which is almost 35 kilometers away from Guwahati, and it is It is the commercial hub of handlooms. So as I mentioned, that in Assam, every household must have a handloom to get their day-to-day clothes. All that gamusa. That gamusa is a very traditional item of Assam, and along with that gamusa, we weave mekhela sadar, riha, and other kind of wearable dress. But in Swalgusi, the case is different. In Swalgusi, we particularly produce silk product. Silk. Otherwise, that when I am talking about that throughout the Assam we weave, that is mostly cotton for the day-to-day weave. But in Swalgusi, we weave functional dress. Functional in the sense that is we wear in our marriage, we our ceremony, we our festivals, and we our in our bihu. Perhaps all of you know that Assam Bihu is then Rongali Bihu is a very famous festival of Assam, and in that Bihu we wear only the silk cloth made of muga, which is a totally Assamese peculiar variety of wool. I am repeating the word of wool. There, as you know, that there are 4 varieties of silk: mulberry, muga, eri, and tassar. And out of these 4, muga variety is only available, that brown color fabric, that is available only in Assam. So in Swalkusi, we are dealing, our artisans or our weavers are dealing only with the silk product. Silk product that is made of mulberry, muga, tassar. Eri is little bit less in Swalkusi area. As I am representing Swalkusi cluster of Assam, what I have seen that last 20 years, there is a sea change in our business. Earlier, it was a cottage industry, but after the liberalization, as that no bank finance and other thing has come up very easily. So what we have seen that in Swalgusi, that number of handlooms on commercial basis has increased. So necessarily there was a flow of migrant weavers to this place, and at present that in 2002 there was a survey from an organization where I was the supervisor, and in that work we have found that almost 20,000 looms are there in and around Swalgusi. In fact, earlier those people who were largely relied upon agricultural part, particularly the farming, but gradually they have also transferred to the weaving. They have also transferred their business to the weaving part, and all are of handloom. This is a peculiar thing, but I have seen many places in and around India, and most of the places are either merged with power loom or the number of handloom is decreasing. But what is the peculiarity of Swalkusi is that handloom is still having the whole in the whole weaving process. It is a very unique product thing, and all are no doubt there are some changes. We using Dobby machine, we using some kind of tools nowadays for flowering, but still more or less the technology is totally primitive, and we rely only on the handloom. So Swalgusi, at present, we are having 15,000 looms only in the Swalgusi geographical area, where we are having 3 panchayats. But if we consider the nearby areas also, if the Swalgusi, if we consider as a cluster, the total number of looms will surpass 20,000 mark. I think it is very laudable for the Uyghur community of Assam. Now in Swalkusi, mulberry, no doubt. Out of this, as I'm talking about the Swalkusi, in Swalkusi, what we have seen that out of this 15,000 looms, almost 60% are of mulberry, and next 30% are of tosser variety. Perhaps all of you aware about the tossers, and rest 10% is shared by Eri and Muga. So with this, every year we produce around 3 lakh square meter cloths. 3 lakh square meter cloths, and almost 85% are being consumed in Assam itself. As I have said, that we produce a silk product that is being used in festivals, in our marriages, and in our functions. So most of the items are being consumed in Swalkusi in Assam, and rest 50% we export to either to the rest of the state of Assam, India, or to abroad. We have a very good market of our exportable item, particularly the plain cloth, to Japan, Southeast Asian nation, as well as the Europe too. And you will be believed, you will be surprised that out of this 15,000 weavers, 50% are from Swalkusi, they are localized, and next 50% are the migrant weavers, who are coming from the nearby areas of Swalkusi. In fact, not nearby, some are coming from other districts, which is far away to 300, 400 kilometers from Swalkusi. And these 15,000 weavers, along with their another 7,000, 6 to 7,000 are allied weavers. That means they are helping these weavers. And what we have noticed that the total number of people involved in the whole process is around 28 to 30,000, because weavers are there, allied weavers are there, then business traders are there, shopkeepers are there, and apart from that, though there are other people who are selling yarn, who are producing yarn, particularly the Muga and Eri, and one who are doing all other, like somebody is working in the Jacquard machine, somebody is is skilled in punching card, somebody is preparing the pre-work, pre-loom work. So if you see the whole involvement of the all people, they come around 30,000 in Swalkusi itself. So in Assam, we have 5 to 6 clusters: Vijayanagar cluster, then Kokrajhar cluster, Sivasagar cluster in Upper Assam, then Dhemaji cluster. So if you know, and another one is the Palakbari cluster. So if you add all these, then the total numbers comes at the again I am repeating, all are involved in handlooms only. Hardly, not in fact, not hardly, not a single power loom exists in Swalkusi, and I can give guarantee you that in other places of Assam also, the contribution of power loom sector is very minimal. It's very minimal. It is hardly 0.01%. But in Swalkusi, it's almost nil. So, if this much of people are engaged in a work which is predominantly primitive in nature, and day by day, due to the competition of power loom, due to the competition of organized sector, in other places they are shrinking. But in Assam, particularly in Swalkusi, they are still widening. They are widening their base. So on this note, I think that we must work for the upliftment of our weavers, the upliftment of our allied weavers, and for the upliftment of the people involved in the weaving culture of Assam, particularly the handloom weaving culture of Assam. Now, the reality. So far, I have given a very good picture that that our business is increasing. But the reality is, if you go through the state, because as I belong to economics also, so I have a what to say, I have a tendency to think it from a different perspective. But what we have seen that 20 or say 30 years ago, the handloom weaving of Swalgusi was a cottage industry, that every household had a handloom at their own, and there was no allied weaver. All the family member had help in weavings. But now what the thing is that though the number of handlooms is increasing, but these are concentrated in few households. I hope you got the point. Though the number of handloom is increasing, but it is concentrated on few households. So a kind of Mahajani system has coming up. Mahajani system, have you got it? The word, I mean, it is a Hindi word. A kind of like we are used to say zamindars. But Mahajan is also, that is, those who are having money, those who are having capital. Now what they do, they employ more migrant labor in their work set, and they himself or herself not engage directly in weaving, but they work as an entrepreneur. So the earlier who were a weaver in his own handloom, now he is a say bonded weaver. Just like in agriculture we get bonded labor, now he is a bonded weaver. Though he is weaving, he is a hired weaver. He is not a master. So this is a social aspect we need to ponder. Because in handloom also, look, in power loom the case is different. In the power loom, those who are employing capital, they become the master. They become the boss. But in fact, in Swalgusi, what I have noticed that in handloom also, that master weavers become more dominant. Rather, he is master. He is no longer a weaver, and that's why the number of hired weavers in increasing day by day in my place. As I have already mentioned, that out of 15,000 weavers, 50% may be from Swalgusi, but next 50% are coming from the other part. And those earlier weavers, now he is transferred to the entrepreneur. He is getting some money, he has taken the bank loan, he has hired migrant labor, and he has constructed a work set. And so earlier, which was a cottage industry, now that factory kind of system taken place. So that's why what I have noticed, that earlier the number of handloom may be less, but it was widely scattered, evenly scattered to each household. But now situation is that some people who are not having much money, who cannot hire master weaver, they are become bonded weaver to some other factory. And in fact, when we talked about the government, because the government schemes, particularly from the handloom department, particularly from the Ministry of Textile, particularly say for Central Silk Board, their always main focus is on the weavers. You got it, the point? I hope all of us got the point. But their their focus is not on the hired weavers. So recently what happened, perhaps all of us know that COVID-19 or corona pandemic has made all of our life a hell. But it is more troublesome for the weavers, particularly for the hired weavers, because they now at nowhere. They are not getting any government assistance, but at the same time, they are not getting any support from their masters also, that those who have hired them earlier from their employers. So on this ground, my organization, Swalkushi Tat Shilpa Unnayan Committee, along with other social group of my village, we are working on this ground, and we had submitted a plan to the government recently, just in the month of April, so that the government can also help these hired weavers as well as the master weavers. Because these hired weaver, they are become a slave, they are become a laborer. So when we talked about the modernization, when we talked about the value addition, when we talked about the changes of the handloom, structural change of the handlooms to increase the productivity, these bonded weavers, they don't have any say. And again, those who have that capacity, they are more focused on their business, and they are more focused on their capacity building by hook or crook to increase the productivity, to increase their sale by hook or crook. They want to get the market share, but at the same time, their focus is not for the upliftment of their for their laborers and for their that business as a whole. No doubt, they are focused on their own business. But when we're talking about that at a community perspective, when we talk about the social perspective, though the number 15,000 weaver in hardly 9 kilometer, 9 square, the geographical area of my place is hardly 9 square kilometer. But in the 9 square kilometer, the concentration of the handlooms is around 15,000. And if you expand the area, it is around 20,000 handlooms. But from the social perspective, these entrepreneurs are not coming up to increase productivity either of their own or from the society as a whole. So in fact, it's a it's a question for us also, that how we can, as a whole, we can uplift both the weavers as well as the entrepreneurs, because these entrepreneurs, they are not well trained. They are not doing any kind of essay masters in business administration or some technological know-how knowledge. They don't have. Only they have money and they are employing weavers. But what happened? Like last 3 months, they don't have sale. There is no any good sign for their business, because perhaps you know that in Assam, our peak time of business is from October to April, and then later from May onwards, monsoon season starts, and we get lots of problems. Because in monsoon season, our sale is very less. There is no sale at all. So now what happened? From the last 4 months, our business is down, and now the flood is very severe. So at this moment, it is very, very critical for all of us, critical time for all of us, for our own survival. So as the corona is taking a very, what to say, taking toll on all of us. In fact, the weavers community are very much suffered. Now they are out of the work. They are not having a proper livelihood. In fact, they don't know where to go, because as most of them are the hired weavers, so they don't have their own loom. They don't have their own they don't have their own power to start a loom. Already they have become hired. They are employed somewhere else. So the localites, those who were working as in weaver handlooms, now they are also jobless, and those migrant weavers, they are also forced to go back. In that situation, we are facing a crisis time. In fact, we don't know how to sort it out. That's why the initiative taken by the Vipassam, so on the eve of the Handloom Day, is very much appreciable. And I think through your YouTube, that all the, particularly the government and like other NGOs, all the organizations who are working in this front will come forward to help to sort out our problem, and our weaving business again will bloom in future. I think that is from my part. Thank you.
நீங்க பார்த்துட்டு இருக்க இந்த வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்துச்சுன்னா லைக் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க, கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க, சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க. மறக்காம பக்கத்துல இருக்க பெல் பட்டனையும் பிரஸ் பண்ணுங்க. அப்பதான் நாங்க போடுற வீடியோவோட அப்டேட் எல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு நோட்டிபிகேஷனா வரும்.